All right, guys, I've got another non-reverse Thunderbird here. This bass is very near and dear to my heart. This is my first non-reverse Thunderbird. I bought it at the House of Guitars, I think in late 77, early 78. It's become a bit of a blur. I do have the original receipt somewhere, so I need to dig that out. This bass is dated 1966 by the serial number. Factory figures show none shipped. No Thunderbird II shipped in 1968, but it's dated 1968, so I've always called it my 68. This bass was in a case at the House of Guitars with probably half a dozen other non-reverse Thunderbirds that nobody wanted. Nobody, except me. When I first plugged one of these in, I couldn't believe the sound. I also couldn't believe how long the neck was and how big a reach it was to play this instrument. But I promised myself I would overcome it just because of the sound of this bass. I just plugged it in and I went, oh my God, there's the sound. There it is. I'll tell you my bass search history that led me to the Thunderbird someday. But anyhow, back to this bass. So there was this bass here with 6 others, including Craig Gruber of Rainbow, his much modified white, refinished white Thunderbird, non-reverse Thunderbird with the high A pickups in it. I didn't know it was Craig's at the time, but it's been confirmed for me now. I wish I'd bought it back then. This bass is reportedly belonged to Bruce Turgeon of Black Sheep. I have no confirmation of this, but he was known to play one of these from time to time. When I got the bass, there was some interesting marks in the back. It was beat on with a hammer and a screwdriver, pretty severely. And the body was cracked. I had to glue it back together. Now, there were other Thunderbirds in the case that were in much better shape, but I just fell in love with this bass. I had to have this bass for some reason. So, non-reverse Thunderbirds are very interesting. They vary a lot. There's no consistency in these things. Gibson redesigned the Thunderbird in mid-1965, and it's like they were just throwing something at the wall to see if it would stick. Ergonomically, it's a very bad design. It's neck heavy. It's big. I know a lot of cats can't play these because they're just too long. Now, I'm fortunate. I have long gibbon-like arms. You know, I got the wingspan of a condor. So it felt very comfortable for me. So that's another reason I gravitated to this bass. But this bass in particular, I found it to be very different from most non-reverse Thunderbirds. It has a thicker body by about 1/16 of an inch, possibly an 1/8. I haven't exactly measured it, but it's noticeably thicker. The contours on the body, they're nowhere near as rounded as my other ones. It's a very chunky, square body. The neck is much thicker front to back than a lot of my other basses. And when I first got this bass, I thought the neck was so big that I'd never be able to play it. But it took me almost a year to transition to it from my Ibanez Destroyer and my 76 Thunderbird. But what got me was the tone. The bass sings, it's authoritative. Like all non-reverse Thunderbirds, it has a mild inherent distortion, and for a passive bass, which was the norm back in the 60s and the 70s, it's very loud. The output on these pickups is pretty hot. Again, this is a Thunderbird II, single pickup. There it is. Chrome. These basses had mixed hardware. You could have a chrome pickup with a nickel bridge and a chrome tailpiece. And chrome or nickel tuners. This particular bass has chrome tuners and a chrome pickup, and that's one of my replacement tailpieces, 60 spec. The non-reverses had more of a square radius on that little edge right there, as opposed to the rounded ones on the 60s. And there's my Bad Bird bridge, which, interestingly enough, the bridge was moved on this bass when I got it. They still put it in the wrong spot, and now this is on backwards compared to most Thunderbirds. So please note, this Bad Bird bridge is on backwards. If you use this as an installation guide for your Bad Bird bridge, this one is on backwards compared to most Thunderbirds. This bass and I go way back. I've played in No Dice, Expose, Stone Garden, Johnny Smoke. It's just been with me forever. Also, right back here, you can't really see it, but my Marshall Major is tucked under there. And this Marshall Major and this bass were my combination for years. Only recently, in the past 6 or 7 years, have I switched to Hi-Watt, mainly because I can afford it. And I couldn't back in the day. And they're easier to find with the internet. But I digress. This bass has had several headstock repairs. I think I broke it off twice. Happens. But it doesn't affect the playing ability of it. And a good headstock repair is stronger than the original unbroken. So I only have one unbroken Thunderbird, if you can believe that. The rest all have some manner of headstock repair. So let's hear what she sounds like. I'm not sure what to play, but, you know. I just love this bass. I love the way it sounds. Through a tube amp, this thing cuts through like no other. It's like a flamethrower. It's wildly aggressive, a lot of treble in mid-range, still fundamental low, but it has an inherent distortion on all its own. So I really like that about this bass. Again, this is my baby. This is the one I grab if the house is burning. There's probably several others. But anyhow, we go back a long time. Here it is. My 1968 Gibson Thunderbird II with a badass bridge, a couple of headstock repairs, but that's okay. She still plays and sounds great. So keep on rocking, guys. I hope you're enjoying these as much as I'm enjoying making them. There'll be more to come. So keep on rocking. Until then, my friends, check out that back. Look at that player wear. Yeah. Somebody must not have been in a good mood that day. Anyhow, take care. We'll see you next time.